guys, welcome back to another movie review. So today, I am discussing the brand new Spider-Man and Marvel movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now, this movie is really good. So, it takes place in New York, obviously, and a young middle schooler named Miles Morales. He is just being accepted into a boarding school and trying to gain acceptance and trying to live up to his parents' expectations. So he goes to this boarding school and he meets a girl named Gawanda, and Miles, he's just not into this boarding school. He really hates it. It's like way too stuck up for him because he just likes to make art, spray some graffiti, all the fun stuff. And then he goes over to visit his Uncle Aaron, who is basically just like him, except older. He's just that funny, crazy uncle that we all have. At least, we all want to have. So, then the two of them, they head down into an abandoned subway area, and then they spray some graffiti, and while in the process, Miles is bitten by a radioactive spider. And then, when he wakes up, the next day, he has some strange spider powers. So then he calls his uncle, he tries to call his Uncle Aaron, but is unable to get to him, so he heads back to the place where he got bitten. He finds out that the spider is in fact radioactive, and then he actually sees Spider-Man battling the Green Goblin and also against Kingpin. Because Kingpin, he's basically firing two giant particle accelerators at each other, trying to form a rift into another dimension to try and get alternate versions of his wife and child back, because they died or they left and died after seeing Kingpin fight Spider-Man. So now he's trying to get them back. So Spider-Man sees Miles, and both of them realize that they are very similar because they both have Spider-Man powers. So Spider-Man, after this fight, agrees to train Miles to help him learn his abilities. So unfortunately, the Kingpin fires the particle accelerators directly at Spider-Man, which causes Spider-Man to get gravely injured. And right before Miles goes to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man tells Miles just to go take basically a flash drive, plug it in, and then turn off this part of the whole machine. Because if Kingpin fires this again, then all of Brooklyn can be destroyed. Same with other dimensions. So Miles takes the flash drive. He tries to go over to the place, and then as he's doing so, Kingpin kills Spider-Man. So Spider-Man is dead. So then, upon seeing this, Miles agrees to go and try to fight crime and become the one and only Spider-Man. So he leaves, although he's chased by one of Kingpin's guys named Prowler. Luckily he's able to escape, and then he basically just tries to train, although in the process he accidentally destroys the flash drive. Or he doesn't destroy, but he damages it. So then he goes to Spider-Man's grave, and instead of finding some answers, he finds another Spider-Man from another dimension, which this Spider-Man is completely different. He basically lost his wife, him and his wife, they separated because Spider-Man in the other dimension did not want to have kids. So he's basically just kind of like a Spider-Man that's down on his luck and just not happy. And this second Spider-Man, he needs to get back into his dimension before he completely just dematerializes, because he can't be in this other dimension. And he got there when the whole particle accelerator thing happened. So Miles agrees to give him the flash drive if other Spider-Man trains him to train Miles. So they head over there, they get some training done, and they head over to the research lab to try and get some info. And in the while, they meet Professor Octavius, which is basically Kingpin's head professor in this whole particle accelerator thing. They get into a fight with her. Miles apparently gains two abilities. The ability to make himself turn invisible, and the ability to basically shoot an electric blast called his Venom Blast. And in the process, they also find Wanda, which apparently is also another spider person from another dimension, also called Spider-Woman. So then they head to Spider-Man's Aunt May's house to try and just figure out what to do next. And then they head into Spider-Man's little, I guess, spider cave, and they find three other spider people. They find Spider-Man Noir, which is basically just a black and white version of Spider-Man. They find Spider-Ham, which is a pig version of Spider-Man, and they find Penny Parker, which is basically an anime version of Spider-Man. So then they all try to help Miles train, but unfortunately Miles is just not ready to he truly can't successfully do his abilities on his own. So then Miles, he leaves and heads out. He heads back to his Uncle Aaron's apartment, and he finds out that his Uncle Aaron is actually Prowler that worked for Kingpin. So then, after hearing about this news, he heads back to find the other spider people and tell them that, but he was followed, and a fight breaks out between the spider people, Prowler, Professor Octavius, Tombstone, and Scorpion. All of them, and as they all fight, Miles just really isn't that good yet because he doesn't really understand his powers yet. So then, Prowler and Miles get into a fight, and just before Prowler kills Miles, Miles reveals himself to his Uncle Aaron, and then Uncle Aaron struggles to decide, does not want to kill him. But then, from out of nowhere, Kingpin shoots Prowler and kills him, and therefore killing Uncle Aaron. So then Miles takes his Uncle Aaron to an alley, and then Miles' father sees Spider-Man there with his brother's dead body, and thinks that Miles killed Uncle Aaron, which in reality he didn't. So then Miles, he heads back to his dorm room, and then all the spider people come there, and they basically tell him that Miles is just not going to do anything. He's just going to have nothing to do with them getting back to their own dimensions and stopping the particle accelerator, because he's just not ready. So and just to make sure that he doesn't do anything, they tie him up, and they basically just gag him so he can't do it. Sorry. Okay, guys, so sorry about that, got interrupted, but so now Miles' father goes to Miles, speaks to Miles from the other side of the door because he thinks Miles is ignoring him, tells him that his Uncle Aaron died, and then he just tells Miles that he believes in him, that he can just do anything he puts his mind to, and this gives Miles a confidence boost that just allows him to truly unlock his powers. And so then he heads over to Spider-Man's cave, gets a suit, changes it into his own, makes it all black, and then heads off to help the other spider people. So then they all get there, a fight ensues between spider people and Octavius and Scorpion. So then all of them fight, and then all the spider people, they head back to their own dimensions, and then just as Miles is trying to put the flash drive in and try and stop the machine, Kingpin goes in there and comes in, and a fight between Miles and Kingpin ensues. And then Miles' father is watching, and he cheers his Spider-Man on, and that gives Miles the confidence to use his Venom Blast on Kingpin and defeat him. And then Miles is able to put the flash drive in and stop the entire particle accelerator and saving everyone. So then So then, Miles, he just accepts his new role as the new Spider-Man in his dimension. And him and the Spider People are all able to contact each other through communication, and then the movie ends. All in all, this is a really good movie. Great graphics, even though it was animated. Really good graphics. Really good story. And all in all, just really fun for anyone. Whether you're a new Spider-Man fan, an old one, no matter who, you will love this movie. It's a great movie. I give this movie an A. So yeah, anyway guys, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like and subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.